All right, rolling along here on the Holiday Special podcast. Time for a little pop culture moment here. We're going to have some fun today. Do some pop culture drafting here with one of my guys who's been a big star of the podcast in 2020. We heard him in the clip show portion earlier antagonizing John Stanko about his Red Sox becoming heels. Alan Auss is here. Alan, how are you?
I'm good, Mike. Thank you for having me. I'm quite honored to be an all-star of the podcast.
Yeah, I will say, once you and Stanko were fighting about the Red Sox being heels on the podcast here, I said, okay, this is going in the Holiday Special clip show portion because this is just so funny.
That's awesome. And they are heels, so it makes sense.
Yeah, well, John's listening somewhere, so shout out to John whenever you are.
Yes. Hello, John. Don't hate me for my what you would consider brutal takes.
Yeah. We're not going to hate on anybody. This is the Holiday Special, and I know people can hear from you next week when we do the NFL picks, but this week we're going to have some fun. We're going to do a pop culture Christmas holiday draft like we did for Halloween. I think that one was fun, too.
That was, but with Christmas, I think we've got the most deep roster of related media to choose from.
Oh, we absolutely do, and this is something for people. I know Christmas is going to be different this year, smaller gatherings, if you're doing any, if you're trying to stay safe, that's one thing. You might need something to sort of pass the time besides hopping on the Zoom call at dinner time. But I think one thing's gonna help my Christmas out is that I'm gonna be able to watch Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great holiday season for catching up on films and TV you might have missed over the years. There's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, I mean, I got a podcast that works next week. I'm going to be talking about some of the stuff that happens here. I got to catch up on some movies. I got that on the list. I got to watch Tenet for the first time. I got some stuff going on here.
It's the time to do it.
It is the time to do it. And we're going to do the pop culture holiday draft like we did for Halloween. The rules are the same, basically. We're going to go 5 rounds this time because I have a deeper bench to choose from. You can do TV shows, specials, movies, music, whatever floats your boat. We're going to do that, and we're going to see who come up with the best variety of options to do here. And Alan, we will spoiler warning on my picks. I'm not picking any Power Rangers Christmas episodes.
That's a shame.
They were not nearly as fun as the Halloween episodes were.
No, and I think it'd be more fun. I don't know if this ever happened in the subsequent years, but if there was like a tree monster, a Christmas tree monster who used like his ornaments to attack them and stuff, and the way to get him down would be to take his star. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that. I just remember the pumpkin wrapper. That's why I took that one.
Oh, the pumpkin wrapper is great. But let me just say, a Christmas movie there is a Christmas movie out there which scared me to death as a kid and gave me nightmares for months after I saw it by accident, so to speak. By accident, I mean, if my parents are listening, my friend just happened to have it on at his house. I mean, what am I supposed to do? It was an accident. But the movie is Jack Frost, and it was a horror version, not the Michael Keaton one. And I was petrified. It will not make my list. I will not draft it, but I wanted to mention that a Christmas movie, so to speak, was the scariest movie I ever saw in my youth.
That is very interesting. I did not think of that. But as the guess, I'll give you the first pick. So if you're not taking Jack Frost, where are you going?
Well, there's a lot to choose from, and I'm sure you'll take some of the stuff I have here. But my favorite, I'm not going to pick the novel, but my favorite novel of all time is Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. So with my first pick, I'm going with a version of A Christmas Carol. And I didn't want to isolate the audience and make them go, what is he droning on about? My favorite adaptation of A Christmas Carol is the 1951 Alistair Sim version. But for the purpose of this draft, I will take with my first pick A Muppet's Christmas Carol.
That's a good one. Why was that the top of the board for you?
Because I think it's the second best adaptation of A Christmas Carol after Alistair Sim. And it's what apparently the Muppet people say. I mean, the Charles Dickens estate says that the Muppet Christmas Carol has the most accurate representation of the story in terms of tone and stuff, and I just think that's remarkable.
That's an interesting point. Especially it's coming from the Charles Dickens estate. You got to give that some weight.
Absolutely, and it's a wonderful musical on top of it, and who I think is one of the top 10 actors of all time, Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge. It's really solid.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with a movie for my first pick as well. I think you gotta go with the classic, and you can watch it on NBC every Christmas Eve. You gotta go with Miracle on 34th Street,
And you're talking the old one, the original.
the original version. You gotta go with
Uh,
it because I mean, there's a reason that NBC airs this every single year on Christmas Eve. There is a reason for it because it's a classic movie. The story is always compelling, and the black and white always adds to the effect. And I know it's an oldie, but it's still a goodie.
and a wonderful Santa Claus.
Absolutely. A wonderful Santa Claus. And I do think it does stand the test of time.
I haven't seen it in about 5 or 6 years, but I remember just being in love with it the same way I was the first time I saw it.
Yeah, I think those are two good movie picks to start here. Where are you going with your next one?
My next one is going to be another film in the black and white variety, and it's one that I watch at least 5 minutes of every year if I can't catch the whole thing. It's my aunt's favorite movie, It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, I mean, they go back to back. It makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. So you inspired a pick that I was definitely going to make, so I might as well make it my second pick. It's a Wonderful Life.
Which one do you like better of the two? I'm assuming It's a Wonderful Life. Is you like better?
I do, but only because it has a little bit more sentimentality within my family. And I just love the movie. I think it's pretty dark for a Christmas movie, but the happy ending pays off so well. And it's just, I think it's one of the finest films ever. So it has to make my list.
Yeah, I think it does too. The next one, I'm going to a TV show, but I am going a little off the beaten path. It is on ABC like every holiday season. Are you familiar with the Great Christmas Light Fight?
I am not.
Yeah, so every year there's a show that ABC runs seasonally. It runs for about 3 weeks in December, 2-hour blocks, and they basically go around the country and check out people's Christmas light displays and see who can put together the best displays each episode. And then the winner gets a $50,000 prize. And some of the stuff these people can put together is incredible.
This is quite a off the beaten path pick. I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, it's an unusual one. And for me, who likes the Christmas lights and will go like drive around randomly, see what kind of displays people put up, like the amount of creativity that some people have and the amount of money people can sink into these things, this project's incredible.
So it's a lot of Clark Griswold wannabes.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, like, if I had the money to burn, like, that'd be something I would like to try and get on that show. But you need lots of lights and lots of creativity and lots of ideas to make that happen.
Never give up, man. Never give up. If you want it, you can have it.
Yeah, I might have to, like, go win another reality show. I had the money to get on that reality show.
Maybe you can go win supermarket sweep, take the winnings, and put it towards the Christmas light.
Yeah, supermarket sweep. I feel like though that and like Amazing Race, the two I could do well on. I don't think I could do well on any of the others.
Well, then there's your start. There's your starting point.
Yeah, I think it is a good starting point. I think the Great Christmas Light Fight is a fun thing. It's 2 episodes basically back to back in the 2-hour block, so you can watch an hour and then skip the second if it's not for you. But I think it's highly enjoyable.
Awesome. I'll have to look into it.
All right, where are you going with your next one?
And my next one, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to go with, first of all, can I just say that Christmas music, there are at least 25 songs that can be considered the best Christmas songs, right? Depending on who you ask.
Yes.
Like it's that wide a range. But I'm going with one that I might catch some heat for because it's a little bit of a popular opinion one. But I do think it is a fantastic Christmas song. Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Definitely one that you hear on the radio all the time this time of year.
Absolutely. And I think it's a fantastic pop song. It's a fantastic Christmas song. And I was debating which songs to go with. You have all the Christmas-y songs that have been sung by multiple people over the years. You have Bruce Springsteen, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which is a phenomenal song. And you have Feliz Navidad, just a lot of catchy jingles. Paul McCartney, Wonderful Christmas Time. Just all these songs to choose from, and I went with Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You, because if you hear that song, you are bopping your head with it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is something that like is a popular Alexa request. You can, I obviously you're home for the holidays, and that always gets a request of somebody saying, "Hey, Alexa, play All I Want for Christmas Is You."
Absolutely, it's a party favorite around Christmas time.
Yeah, that's a good one. And for me, I'm gonna go the song well as well. And this is the song that I've used on the intro for the Winter Wonderland for the holiday special podcast the last 3 years. We're gonna go with "Walking in a Winter Wonderland." I have a sample already prepared. This is what we heard at the top of the little taste of the pick, Winter Wonderland.
A great pick. It's the perfect song, like right before dinner, you're sitting around with your family. This is on in the background. It's a nice, chill evening, and it just puts you right in the Christmas spirit.
Plus, you gotta love Michael Bublé.
Gotta love Bublé.
Yeah, I think the terms of the picks, like I would have gone with either of those songs, like "All I Want for Christmas Is You" or "Winter Wonderland." I think it's appropriate to have them go back to back here.
It's perfect. It's a nice honor to have for the Christmas songs, and depending on who listens, they're gonna have 10 different songs they like more, and that's the beauty of Christmas music.
All right, that's a good Christmas miracle we made happen here. And where are you going with your next one?
Now, my next one is my favorite as a kid. I think it is one of the funniest. It's one of the most endearing, and it's kind of like off the wall, but it's in the Rankin Bass, realm. And I'm going with "The Year Without a Santa Claus."
Interesting.
I loved "The Snow Miser" and "The Heat Miser" as a kid. I must have watched those songs over and over and over. It's just a fantastic, fun little movie, and it's got so much character. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I love like all of those like like all those movies, like the specials that they do every year. Though you don't see that one too often.
No, and then they tried remaking it with like live action, and it was horrendous. So let me just make clear, this is the original "Year Without a Santa Claus" in the Rankin and Bass production, where it looks like it's almost like stop motion with like figures. I don't know how to describe it, puppets or not clay. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, claymation kind of.
Yeah, so I'm going with "The Year Without a Santa Claus."
Yeah, it's definitely a good pick. I do feel like of all of those specials, I mean, you get Rudolph every year, you get Frosty every year. Like some of those lesser known ones don't usually pop up on TV as well. I think that also makes them gems in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I love Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and that could easily be picked. I just picked "The Year Without a Santa Claus" because pretty much for the Snow Miser and the Heat Miser. What a wonderful cast of characters. And that one, and Mrs. Claus is great in that. I just love "The Year Without a Santa Claus."
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. This one, I'll go next. I'm going to go to the sports well here. I'm going to take watching NBA basketball on Christmas Day because I feel like the NBA season doesn't really begin for me until Christmas Day games hit because for years, I'm a Knicks fan. The Knicks would play at noon on Christmas. They haven't done that in recent years. They were terrible, but that's besides the point. But you usually get the big showdowns, the big stars. You have games on all day. I think NBA on Christmas Day is highly underrated in a draft like this.
And in this year, 2020, it's pretty much going to be the beginning of the season for everyone, not just you.
Yeah, because the season starts like basically the 2 days before, and the podcast is dropping right around this actual start of the NBA season on the 22nd, 23rd, and you could have maybe a game before you get to the Christmas Day games, and the slate's interesting this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of big matchups. No Knicks again, as you mentioned, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, they got to earn their way back there. They haven't done that yet.
That's a good pick. It's an interesting, creative pick by you. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it. I'm like, what do I like to do on Christmas Day? I'm like, always the NBA is on. I'll put on, like, usually the Lakers are on there. They have a big matchup. Usually the defending champions play somewhere in there. And it's a good variety of basketball games. The ABC one's the best. ESPN's picked up the slack. So you've got a couple of interesting matchups in the mix.
Nice. Yeah. I used to watch it more because my family used to go to my aunt's house for Christmas, and they would always have it on. So I'd sit there and watch 2 games or so while everyone else just hangs out. But since we stopped going there for various reasons, nothing bad, just age and different traditions, I have not watched NBA on Christmas Day in the last couple of years, I have to admit.
Would you like to hear this year's NBA Christmas schedule?
Sure, hit me.
Okay, noon on Christmas Day. This is usually the Knicks slot. We have Zion and the Pelicans going to Miami to take on the Heat. That's the first one.
That's a good one.
Game 2. This one's taking a hit because of injuries here. The Warriors are going to Milwaukee to take on Giannis and the Bucks, fresh off of his Supermax extension.
I feel like that's going to go the Bucks' way right now.
I think it will, probably. 5 o'clock, New York flavor. Brooklyn Nets head to Boston to take on the Celtics.
Is KD going to play?
KD's going to play.
Then it's going to be that might be that's the most intriguing matchup you've listed so far.
I think the next one is better. The next one we have here, Luka Doncic and the Mavericks head to LA to take on the Lakers.
That is fantastic. I'm a huge Luka Doncic fan and a huge LeBron James fan, so you're right. That did up the ante.
Yeah, I think that's the last ABC game. I feel like is the 8 o'clock game. I feel like they did 5 and 8. I feel like they're ones they had.
And there's one more, right?
There is one more. It's usually a West Coast game. That's the case here. Clippers Nuggets.
I like the Nuggets. I don't think that's as intriguing a matchup as the last one you said, but I do like the Nuggets a lot.
Yeah, that's your trip. That's your NBA quintuple header on Christmas Day, and this is also a big Christmas sports year because you have a football game on Christmas Day. You have the Saints and the Vikings playing on this is usually a Thursday night. They don't play on Christmas Eve. They pushed it to a Friday special. And they actually have, I think the Big Ten's playing 4 college basketball games on Christmas Day. So if you like sports, it's a good Christmas for you.
Sounds like quite an addition to the amount of films and TV you'll have time to watch.
Yeah, the Big Ten one is interesting to me just because this is one where they're clearly just taking advantage of the pandemic restrictions where the kids obviously are not going home for Christmas. So the Big Ten said, hey, the Big Ten Network wants content. Let's give them 4 games.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it does sound right. And there's one more pick each for us. You have your last one. Where are you going?
I'm torn. You've mixed it up with different kinds of media. I'm not as creative as you. I'm going to say that it's between 2 things. I don't know what to pick. You know what? I'll go with Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the cartoon.
Ooh, the cartoon. I like that version.
Yeah, that's the best one ever. It's only about 20 something minutes long, but it's a great story about a character who's mean spirited, doesn't like Christmas, and by the end he's in the Christmas spirit and his heart grows 3 times the size it was. Love the Grinch, and it just beat out Christmas Vacation, and I went with it because it's a little bit more grand. I'll put it that way. It's a little bit bigger of a history behind it than Christmas Vacation, which I love Christmas Vacation. So that gets an honorable mention from me.
Yeah, it's a good pick there. I know pop culture correspondent Sandra Rose will be a big fan of that pick because she's a big Grinch fan. That's one I had on my board too. I was thinking about taking it, then saying, I'll go off the board with the NBA. Then I was going to go next. He stole it from me.
What did I steal from you?
The Grinch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So what do you got with your final pick?
It's a lot of ways I could go for this because there's like you said, it's such a deep pool of stuff you can pick from with the movies, the music. For me, I threw the sports in. You got everything, and I feel like there's 3 ways I want to go here. I could go with Charlie Brown Christmas. I feel like it's an instant classic. I feel like it helps out a lot, and you have to watch it. I feel like the Toy Story Christmas special, the Toy Story The Time Forgot. I feel like that's also an underrated. It's become interesting in the last couple of years. But I think I'm going to go one more movie here. I'm going to take Elf.
Oh, great one.
Yeah. Just because Will Ferrell's performance as Buddy the Elf is one of the funniest all-time Christmas movies of all time. I think you have to go get him on the board.
No problem with that pick. It's a great Christmas movie, and I'd say it's one of the more modern Christmas classics.
It definitely
because another honorable mention for me would be Bad Santa, which I think is a great movie, and also, like Will Ferrell, a great comedic performance by Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah. Any other honorable mentions you had on your list that you did not get to take?
Like I said, I had Christmas Vacation. I had Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen. I did have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on there as an honorable mention, and the Alistair Sim Christmas Carol, which it'll be hard to convince people to watch it now, but he is the best Ebenezer Scrooge, in my opinion, followed closely by Michael Caine. So I got a lot of stuff like that. And then I love almost every Christmas song, so you can just throw them. And my last honorable mention will be all the Christmas episodes of The Office.
Yeah, those are all good picks. I think in terms of me, I feel like we did underrate Teal. I mean, we only got Christmas Light Fight in there. That was the only one we got in there. I would say a lot of the Christmas shows tend to have good Christmas episodes. There's like Friends I know had some good ones. How I Met Your Mother had some good ones. I will say The Polar Express is also on my list. I didn't end up taking it. That was another modern sort of Christmas classic movie. I think the two I mentioned, the Charlie Brown Christmas and the what was it called? The Toy Story Time Forgot. Those are also interesting picks to me. And an interesting question for you before we get to this. I had this on my honorable mentions. I want to know if you agree with this. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Yeah. It was on the honorable mentions for me. I just didn't draft it because it's like, it's a Christmas movie, but it's also its own sort of thing, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I kind of related to Gremlins, which is a Christmas movie, but it's overshadowed by the characters of the Gremlins. So I think people forget that it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, so that was the alternatives. And to reset the draft here, here's what happened here. Alan started off with A Muppet Christmas Carol. He followed with It's a Wonderful Life. Then All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. The Year Without a Santa Claus. And Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. How do you feel about that?
I'm very happy with that selection.
Yes, I went with Miracle on 34th Street, The Great Christmas Light Fight, which Alan and I heard of before we did this podcast, The Winter Wonderland by Michael Bublé, and the watching the NBA on Christmas Day, and Elf. Those are our Christmas picks, so a lot of good options to choose from here.
Absolutely, and other than Light Bright, I can't knock any of you. And I'm not knocking Light Bright. I just
haven't seen it.
Light Fight. What's it called?
The Great Christmas Light Fight.
Okay, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment. But your other four picks, very impressed with, and can't go wrong for sure.
Indeed, Alan. Thanks for all the time. I really appreciate it. Before I let you go, how can you follow on social media and keep up with some of the stuff you're up to?
Of course, on Twitter at Alan_Austin_, and Instagram at Alan Austin Sports, and new podcast American Scene, where my co-host Ben Rosen and I dissect American movies, which are movies that have American in the title. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I must say, since the last time we talked, the American Hustle one came out. I was happy about that.
Yes. Give it a listen. I'm trying to gain more traction on the Instagram. I'm in charge of that, and I'm hoping people will follow. So follow American Scene Pod on Instagram as well.
All right. Thanks again, Alan. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Mike, it's a pleasure always. Thank you so much.
Yep. Happy holidays, sir.
You as well.
All right. Up next, we're going to wrap up the holiday special with an annual tradition here on the Holiday Special podcast. The weirdest Christmas gifts you can find for your New York sports friends with Sam DeRosa right after this.